The sun was high in the sky over Oak Ridge. It was the kind of summer day that made ice cream taste better. On Main Street, between the hardware store and the bookshop, stood Scoops of Joy. The small ice cream parlor had a bright blue awning and a sign with a smiling ice cream cone character. Greg Patterson wiped sweat from his forehead as he scooped a perfect ball of strawberry ice cream. He was a solid man with short gray hair and arms that showed years of hard work. At 38, Greg had found peace in making ice cream after spending years in war zones. His customers never knew that he once built defense systems instead of Sundays. "Here you go, Lily," Greg said, handing a cone to a little girl with pigtails. One scoop of strawberry with rainbow sprinkles. The girl's face lit up as her mother paid Greg. The shop was busy today. 10 customers sat at the small tables and 5 more waited in line. Allison Carter rushed between tables picking up empty dishes. She was 21 with short brown hair and a Scoops of Joy t-shirt. She worked here during summer break from college where she studied computer science. "Greg, we're almost out of napkins," Allison called as she wiped down a table. "There should be more in the back," Greg replied. "Noah can get them when he finishes washing dishes." In the back room, Noah Franklin loaded the dishwasher. At 17, he was the newest employee. He had sandy blonde hair and was on the high school swim team. This was his first real job, and he took it seriously. The bell above the door jingled. Sam Nichols entered, walking slowly with his cane. He was 72 with thin white hair and glasses that always slid down his nose. "Morning, Greg," Sam said, easing himself onto a stool at the counter. "The usual, please." Greg nodded and scooped a single scoop of vanilla into a cup. Sam came in every day at the same time and ordered the same thing. Some of the other regular customers thought it was boring, but Greg understood. After serving in Vietnam, Sam liked things simple and predictable. "Hot one today," Sam said, taking a small bite of his ice cream. "Supposed to hit 95 by noon," Greg replied. He liked Sam. They never talked about their military days, but they didn't need to. There was an understanding between them. The door opened again, and Olivia Walsh walked in. She was 45 with curly red hair pulled back in a bun. As the town librarian, she always carried a book with her. Today it was a thick volume about astronomy. "Hello, Greg," she said, studying the flavors. "What's new today?" Greg smiled. Unlike Sam, Olivia never ordered the same thing twice. "Blueberry, cheesecake or maple bacon?" Olivia's eyes widened. "Maple bacon? Ice cream with bacon in it?" "Don't knock it till you try it," Greg said, offering her a small sample. She tasted it and thought for a moment. "Interesting. I'll take a scoop of that and a scoop of the blueberry cheesecake." As Greg prepared her order, Officer Keith Summers walked in, still in his police uniform. He was 34 with a friendly face despite his serious job. "Afternoon, everyone," Keith said, nodding to the customers he knew. "Greg, got any of that coffee ice cream left?" "Just made a fresh batch this morning," Greg replied. Noah emerged from the back room carrying a box of napkins. "Where do you want these, Greg?" "By the register is fine," Greg said. He handed Keith his ice cream. "On the house today." Keith shook his head. "Can't accept free stuff, you know that. Department rules." Greg nodded and took Keith's money. He respected the officer's principles. Outside, no one noticed the strange shimmer in the sky. High above Oak Ridge, hidden by advanced technology, a ship hovered. It was not from Earth. Inside the ship, 3 Vraxians studied the town through viewing screens. They had gray skin with a purple tint and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Their bodies were thin but strong with 3-fingered hands. "This settlement appears simple," said Commander Zexlar. "These humans are primitive, just as our studies indicated." "But dangerous in large numbers," replied Science Officer Mira Vex. "We must be cautious." "That is why we start small," said Zexlar. "See that blue building? Many humans enter and exit. It must be important." The 3rd Vraxian, Security Chief Drawn Tool, zoomed the view screen to show Scoops of Joy. "They consume substances there. Perhaps it is a fuel station for their bodies." Mira Vex analyzed the readings. "The substances contain high levels of sugars and fats, Inefficient fuel, but perhaps valuable to them. Then this will be our first claim, decided Zexlar. If we control their fuel, they will surrender quickly. The Vraxians didn't understand. That ice cream was just a treat, not a necessity. This mistake would cost them. Back in the shop, Greg felt a strange tingle at the base of his skull. He rubbed the spot, confused. He hadn't felt that sensation in years, not since his last deployment. It was a warning system, part of the modifications they had given him, designed to alert him to danger. But that was impossible. Those systems were supposed to be dormant. The program had ended years ago. Across the room, Sam straightened slightly in his chair. His hand moved from his cane to rest on the table, ready to push himself up quickly if needed. His eyes, previously sleepy and relaxed, scanned the room with new alertness. Olivia closed her book and removed her glasses, cleaning them slowly while her eyes darted to each exit. The three never looked directly at each other, but they were, suddenly aware of each other in a new way. Noah noticed the change in Greg. "Everything okay, boss?" Greg forced a smile. "Fine. Just a headache coming on." Keith's radio crackled. "All units, be advised. Observatory reports unusual atmospheric readings over downtown area, probably equipment malfunction, but keep alert." The air in the center of the shop began to shimmer. Customers paused, spoons halfway to mouths, thinking it was a heat mirage. The shimmer grew brighter, forming 3 tall columns of light. "What the heck is that?" Allison asked, backing away from the strange lights. Greg's hand tightened on the ice cream scoop. Sam's fingers wrapped around his cane like a weapon. Olivia slipped her glasses into their case, her eyes suddenly sharp and focused. The light column solidified into 3 tall figures. Gray skin, 4 eyes, alien. For a moment, the shop was completely silent. A child's ice cream cone fell to the floor with a soft plop. Then someone screamed, and the peaceful day at Scoops of Joy was over forever. The 3 alien figures stood tall in the middle of Scoops of Joy. They were nearly 7 feet tall with slim bodies and gray skin that had a purple shine under the shop lights. Their 4 eyes blinked in different patterns as they looked around the room. "Is this some kind of joke?" a woman asked. "Are they filming a movie?" The tallest alien stepped forward. It wore what looked like armor with strange symbols. A small device on its chest lit up, and when it spoke, English words came out. "Humans of Earth," the alien said in a flat voice. "I am Commander Zexlar of the Vraxian Empire. We claim this resource center and all its fuel supplies for our empire." People looked at each other in confusion. Some laughed nervously, thinking it was a prank. Others began to edge toward the door. "Sir," Greg said calmly, stepping out from behind the counter. "This is just an ice cream shop. We don't have fuel here." The alien commander turned all 4 eyes toward Greg. "Our scans show this is where humans gather to consume energy. The sweet substances you distribute are clearly valuable fuel," Noah whispered to Allison. "They think ice cream is our fuel?" The second alien, smaller but with more devices attached to its armor, moved to the display case. "These colored substances emit strong energy signatures. They will be useful to our research." Greg stepped between the alien and his ice cream. "Look, I think there's been a misunderstanding. Why don't we talk about this? I'm Greg Patterson, the owner of this shop." The third alien, bulky with what was clearly a weapon attached to its arm, made a harsh sound. "The human challenges our authority, Commander." Commander Zexlar raised a 3-fingered hand. "Your name is not important, human. This establishment now belongs to the Vraxian Empire. You will step aside." Sam Nichols had not moved from his seat, but his hand no longer shook as it rested on his cane. Olivia Walsh had positioned herself near the door, standing very still as she watched the aliens. "I can't let you take my shop," Greg said firmly. "Please leave." The commander made a sound like stones grinding together. "Your primitive world has been observed for decades. We know humans are weak and divided. You cannot resist." Officer Keith stood up slowly. "As a police officer of Oak Ridge, I need to ask you all to leave this establishment immediately." The bulky alien pointed its weapon at Keith. The human threatens us. I'm not threatening anyone, Keith said, hands raised. I'm just asking you to leave peacefully. The commander nodded to the bulky alien. Security Chief Drontul, demonstrate our power. Before anyone could move, Drontul fired its weapon. A blue light shot across the room and hit the ice cream display case. The glass shattered and ice cream melted instantly. People screamed and rushed for the doors. A mother grabbed her child and ran. An old man fell in the rush and two teenagers helped him up. Everybody stay calm, Keith shouted, reaching for his gun. But Drontul fired again, hitting Keith with a different colored beam. Keith froze mid-motion, then collapsed to the floor. Keith, Greg shouted. He knelt beside the officer, checking his pulse. He's alive but unconscious. The customers who hadn't escaped pressed themselves against the walls. Only Sam, Olivia, Greg, Noah, and Allison remained in the center of the shop with the aliens. This is your final warning, said Commander Zexlar. Surrender this facility or face elimination. Greg stood up slowly. Something was changing in him. The tingling at the base of his skull had spread throughout his body. His vision sharpened. His muscles felt tight, ready to spring. Military training he hadn't used in years came flooding back, but it felt different now. Enhanced. I spent 3 tours protecting people, Greg said, his voice deeper than before. I didn't stop just because I started making ice cream. Across the room, Sam stood up without using his cane. His back straightened, and suddenly he didn't look old anymore. His movements became smooth and precise as he positioned himself near the aliens. Olivia's eyes had changed too. They now seemed to glow slightly as she analyzed the aliens' weapons and armor with a focused intensity. What's happening? Noah whispered to Allison. They had backed up behind the counter. I don't know, Allison replied. I've never seen Greg like this. The smaller alien, wearing what looked like a scientist's uniform, pointed a device at Greg. Commander, I am detecting unusual changes in these humans. Their biological signatures are altering. Impossible, said the commander. Our research shows humans are simple organic beings. Your research is outdated, Greg said. Some of us are more than we appear. Sam moved closer, his steps light and controlled. Did you really think a species that survived on a predator-filled planet for thousands of years would be defenseless? Olivia spoke for the first time, her voice clear and analytical. They didn't do thorough research, Sam. They saw what they expected to see. The security chief aimed his weapon at Greg. The humans are trying to deceive us, Commander. Greg felt his skin hardening, becoming dense and tough. It was a sensation he remembered from years ago, when the military scientist had first activated his enhancements. Back then, it had been a controlled test. Now, it was happening naturally, triggered by the threat. Last chance, Greg said to the aliens. Leave my shop and this planet peacefully. Commander Zexlar made a harsh sound that might have been laughter. You are just one human with a primitive brain and weak muscles. Our weapons can destroy your entire building. I'm not just one human, Greg replied. And I'm not just a human. Sam moved closer to the aliens, his body now seeming younger and stronger. None of us are. The security chief fired his weapon at Greg. The blue beam hit him directly in the chest. And nothing happened. Greg looked down at the small smoking hole in his shirt. Underneath, his skin had turned gray and hard, absorbing the energy of the blast. The aliens stepped back in surprise. Now, Greg said, let me show you why it was a mistake to attack my ice cream shop. The alien stared at Greg in shock. The weapon blast that should have killed him had only burned a hole in his shirt. Underneath, his skin had turned gray and tough like stone. Impossible, said the alien scientist Miravex. She waved a scanner over Greg. His cellular structure is changing. This does not match our data on humans. Commander Zexlar stepped back. What are you? The truth? Greg said. We're Project Chrysalis, humans with special abilities that stay hidden until needed. The remaining customers gasped. Noah and Allison looked at each other in confusion from behind the counter. Like butterflies in cocoons, Sam added, stretching his now younger-looking arms. Ordinary on the outside until it's time to change. Olivia's eyes glowed slightly as she studied the aliens. Their armor has weak spots at the joints. The weapons run on some kind of crystalline power source in the handle. Drontal, the security chief, fired his weapon again at Greg. This time Greg caught the energy blast with his hand. The blue light spread across his hardened skin and then disappeared. "That tickles," Greg said. Behind the counter, Allison whispered. To Noah, "Did you know about this? That Greg and the others are some kind of super soldiers?" Noah shook his head. "No way. I thought he was just a regular guy who made really good ice cream." Sam moved faster than seemed possible for anyone, let alone an old man. In a blur, he was beside Drontul. With one quick move, he knocked the weapon from the alien's hand. "Too slow," Sam said. "I may look old, but my reflexes were enhanced to be 5 times faster than normal, and they just woke up." The alien commander pulled out his own weapon. Vraxians, defensive formation. The 3 aliens backed into a triangle facing outward. Miravex touched a panel on her wrist. "Commander, I'm calling for reinforcements from the ship." Greg looked at the scared customers huddled against the walls. "Everyone who can leave, go now. This is about to get dangerous." The customers didn't need to be told twice. They rushed for the door. Soon only Noah and Allison remained with Greg. Sam and Olivia. "You two should go too," Greg told his employees. Noah shook his head. "No way. This is our shop too." Allison nodded. "Besides, Officer Keith needs help." She pointed to the unconscious policeman on the floor. Olivia moved to stand beside Greg. Up close, he could see that her eyes were not just glowing but changing color as she processed information at incredible speed. "Greg, Sam," she said quietly. "I was part of the Cognitive Enhancement Division. I can analyze their technology, but I need more time." Greg nodded. "Sam and I will keep them busy. Noah, Allison, drag Keith behind the counter for safety." The young employees hurried to move. The police officer, Sam, grinned. "Just like old times, eh, Greg? Though back then I was the young soldier and you were the tech specialist." "Times change," Greg replied. "Ready?" Before Sam could answer, the air shimmered again. 5 more aliens appeared in the shop, these ones carrying larger weapons. "Reinforcements have arrived, Commander," one of them reported. Zexlar pointed at Greg. "These humans are not what they appear. They have hidden abilities, use maximum force." The new aliens raised their weapons, but Sam moved in a blur. He knocked 2 of them down before they could fire. Greg charged forward, his hardened skin deflecting. Energy blasts as he tackled another alien. Olivia stayed back, her enhanced mind working rapidly. "Their communications use a frequency I can identify. Their armor is strongest at the chest but weakest at the neck and under the arms." Noah peeked over the counter. "This is insane. They're actually fighting aliens." Allison was checking Officer Keith's pulse when she felt a strange tingling in her fingers. As she touched the officer's radio, she suddenly understood how it worked, on a deep level. Not just how to use it, but how it was built, the frequencies it used, everything. "Noah," she whispered. "Something's happening to me too." "What do you mean?" Noah asked. Allison stared at her hands. "I think I'm like them. I can feel technology, I understand it." She looked at the alien weapon that Sam had knocked away. "I think I can use that gun." Noah's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" Across the shop, Greg and Sam were fighting hard, but the aliens kept coming. 3 more had appeared, bringing their number to 11. "We need to warn others," Greg shouted, as he threw an alien across the room. "There must be more ships, more invasions happening." Sam ducked under an energy blast. "How? We're a bit busy here." Behind the counter, Allison made a decision. She crawled over to Keith and grabbed his radio. Somehow, she knew exactly which buttons to press to reach emergency services. "This is Allison Carter at Scoops of Joy Ice Cream Shop on Main Street," she said into the radio. "We are under attack by aliens. This is not a joke. Armed aliens are attacking humans. We need help." Olivia spotted her. "Good thinking, Allison. We need to alert other Chrysalis agents." "Other agents?" Allison asked. There are more like you? Olivia nodded. All over the country. Ordinary people with extraordinary abilities, living normal lives until needed. One of the aliens fired at Olivia, but Sam jumped in front of her, taking the blast. He fell to one knee, wounded. Sam. Greg shouted, fighting his way toward his friend. Noah, seeing Sam hurt, felt anger rise in him. He grabbed a metal ice cream scoop and, without thinking, vaulted over the counter. Noah, wait! Allison called after him. Noah charged at the alien, who had shot Sam. The alien turned its weapon toward him, but Noah was faster than he'd ever been before. He struck the alien's arm with the scoop, and to everyone's surprise, the metal tool dented the alien's armor. Noah stared at his hands in shock. What just happened? Greg knocked down another alien and reached Noah. You're one of us, a sleeper agent. Did you ever have medical treatments as a child that you don't remember clearly? Noah thought back. There was a special government program at my school when I was 6. They said it was advanced vaccinations. Greg nodded. That was the cover story. Welcome to Chrysalis, kid. The alien commander, seeing another human reveal abilities, spoke into a communication device. This is Commander Zexlar. The humans have hidden defenses. Send in the heavy assault team immediately. The ice cream shop was barely recognizable now. Tables were overturned, glass from the display cases covered the floor, and melted ice cream mixed with a strange purple liquid that leaked from damaged alien equipment. Greg stood in the center of the room, his skin still hardened and gray. 3 aliens lay unconscious at his feet. Sam was leaning against the wall, holding his side where the energy blast had hit him, but still ready to fight. Olivia's eyes continued to glow as she studied the aliens and their technology. Noah held his bent ice cream scoop like a weapon, surprised at his new strength. Allison knelt beside Officer Keith, who was beginning to wake up. What's happening? Keith mumbled, touching his head. Aliens attacked the ice cream shop, Allison explained. And it turns out Greg, Sam, and Olivia are some kind of super soldiers. Maybe Noah and I are too. Keith blinked several times. I must have hit my head harder than I thought. Outside, sirens wailed as police cars and fire trucks responded to Allison's call for help. The alien commander, Zexlar, looked worried for the first time. Our intelligence was wrong, he said to his science officer. These humans have defenses we did not detect. Miravex checked her scanner. Only some of them show these abilities, but they are spreading. More humans in this area are changing as we speak. Greg heard this and smiled. That's how Project Chrysalis works. When one agent is activated, it sends a signal that can wake others nearby, like a chain reaction. Why didn't you tell us? Noah asked, still staring at his hands. About what we really are? We didn't know about you, Sam explained, wincing from his injury. The project leaders placed us throughout society, but we weren't told about each other. Only that we should live normal lives until needed. And most of us forgot, Olivia added. The memories were suppressed along with our abilities. I remember now that I wasn't always a librarian. I used to analyze enemy technology for military intelligence. The air shimmered again and 6 more aliens appeared. These were bigger with heavier armor and larger weapons. The heavy assault team, Zexlar said with satisfaction. Now we will end this resistance. Greg looked at his small team. Sam is injured. Noah and Allison are just discovering their abilities. We need help. As if answering his call, the shop's front door burst open. A man in a dentist's coat ran in. It was Dr. Paul Jackson, the town dentist. His hands were changing, fingers extending, into what looked like precision tools. Heard the emergency call, Paul said. Guess I'm not just a dentist after all. Behind him came Heather Daniels, the school bus driver. Her arms had grown larger, muscles expanding beyond normal human limits. Felt something wake up inside me, Heather said. Then I heard the call. What are these things? Aliens, Greg explained quickly. Trying to invade. We're Chrysalis agents. Paul and Heather nodded, as if this explained everything. I remember, now, Paul said, looking at his transformed hands. I was designed for precision work, disabling bombs, repairing tech in the field. Heather flexed her enhanced muscles. And I was made for strength. Could never figure out why I found it so easy to change bus tires. The lead alien from the assault team stepped forward. More altered humans will not save you. Our ship carries 500 warriors all ready to teleport down. Allison had been quiet, focusing on the strange feeling in her head. Suddenly, she stood up. I understand their teleport system, she announced. It uses a specific frequency to lock onto targets. If we can block that frequency, they can't bring more troops. Olivia looked at her with new respect. You're a tech, intuitive. That's rare, even in Chrysalis. Can you block the teleport? Greg asked. Allison nodded. I think so. I need their communication device and something that can transmit a signal. Noah pointed to Officer Keith's police radio. Will this work? Perfect, Allison said, grabbing it. She then crawled quickly across the floor and picked up a small device that had fallen from one of the unconscious aliens. The heavy assault team raised their weapons, preparing to fire. Greg, Sam, Paul, and Heather moved to protect Allison. Whatever you're going to do it fast, Greg called to her. Allison connected the alien device to the police radio using wires she pulled from a nearby lamp. Her fingers moved with incredible speed and precision, though she had never done anything like this before. Almost got it, she said. The assault team fired. Energy blasts filled the room. Greg stepped in front of Allison, taking several hits. His hardened skin absorbed most of the damage, but he grunted in pain. Heather charged at the aliens, her enhanced strength allowing her to tackle two at once. Paul used his transformed hands to target weak spots in the aliens' armor with surgical precision. Sam, despite his injury, moved at super speed, dodging blasts and creating confusion among the aliens. Olivia called out weaknesses in the alien armor and weapons, guiding the others in their attacks. Noah, still new to his abilities, discovered he could jump higher and move faster than before. He used his newfound agility to distract the aliens, drawing their fire away from Allison. Officer Keith, still dazed but determined to help, drew his gun and fired at the aliens. The bullets didn't penetrate their armor but did distract them. Outside, more police had arrived. They surrounded the building but were unsure what to do. Through the windows they could see flashes of energy weapons and humans moving at impossible speeds. Inside, Allison finished her work. Got it, she shouted, activating her makeshift device. It emitted a high-pitched tone that made the aliens cover what passed for their ears. What have you done? Commander Zexlar demanded. Blocked your teleport signal, Allison said proudly. No more reinforcements for you. The alien commander checked his wrist device, then looked up in alarm. She is correct. The signal is jammed. We cannot call more troops. Miravex, the science. Officer turned to her commander. We are outnumbered now. More humans with abilities are converging on this location. I detect at least 20 approaching. Greg stepped forward, his skin still gray and hard but showing burns from the energy. Blasts. This is your last chance. Surrender and leave Earth or we'll be forced to end this permanently. The alien commander looked at his remaining troops. 3 of the heavy assault team were down, disabled by Paul's precise strikes at their armor, joints. 2 more were being held down by Heather's incredible strength. The rest were scattered, fighting individual battles they were losing. For the first time, Commander Zexlar looked afraid. What are you? Greg stood tall, the other chrysalis, agents gathering around him. We are humanity's hidden defense system and you just woke us all up. Commander Zexlar looked at the humans surrounding him. His troops were defeated, his communications blocked, and more enhanced humans were arriving every minute. The invasion that was supposed to be simple had turned into a disaster. How is this possible? The alien commander asked. Our studies showed humans were ordinary biological creatures. Most of us are, Greg said, his hardened skin beginning to return to normal as the immediate danger passed. But some of us were changed to protect the others. Outside the ice cream shop, police had set up a perimeter. News vans arrived, their cameras pointed at the building. The word was spreading fast. Aliens had attacked Earth, and humans with special abilities were fighting back. Inside, Allison adjusted her device to make sure the teleport block stayed active. They can't bring down more troops, But they might have other ways to attack. Olivia nodded. Their ship likely has weapons that could destroy this entire block. The alien science officer, Mira Vex, whispered to her commander. The humans are correct. We could still win this battle with orbital strikes. Sam, his enhanced hearing picking up the whisper, moved closer to Greg. They're thinking about bombing us from their ship. Greg's face hardened again. We need to send a message, not just to these aliens, but to any others watching Earth. More people entered the shop. A mail carrier whose skin had turned reflective like a mirror. A high school teacher whose voice could now shatter glass. A farmer whose arms had transformed into something like living plant matter that could grow and extend at will. Each new arrival nodded to Greg, somehow recognizing him as a leader even though they had never worked together before. It was part of the chrysalis programming. In crisis, a command structure would naturally form. What now? Noah asked, looking at all the transformed humans. There must be 20 of us here, and more coming, Olivia said, her glowing eyes scanning outside. I can sense at least 40 chrysalis agents activating within a 10-mile radius. Commander Zexlar saw his advantage slipping away with each new human that arrived. What do you want? Greg stepped forward. First, you will contact your ship and order them not to attack. Then you and your troops will leave Earth and never return. The alien commander hesitated. Drontul, the security chief, growled. We cannot surrender to primitive beings. Look around you, Heather said, her enhanced muscles still holding down 2 alien soldiers. Does this look primitive to you? Paul Jackson, the dentist, had used his transformed hands to disassemble one of the alien weapons. Their technology is advanced, but not as advanced as they think. I could build a counter to this in my garage. Allison had connected the police, radio to her ear, and was listening to reports coming in. It's not just here, she told the others. There are alien ships over major cities worldwide, but chrysalis agents are fighting back everywhere. Washington, London, Beijing, Moscow, all reporting enhanced humans defending against aliens. Commander Zexlar's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. Impossible. Our attack was coordinated. All cities should be under our control by now. You miscalculated, Greg said. Earth has been preparing for this day for decades. Project Chrysalis was created because we knew we weren't alone in the universe, and that not all aliens would come in peace. Officer Keith had finally recovered enough to stand. I'm still not sure what's happening, but I know which side I'm on. He pointed his gun at the alien commander. Surrender now. Noah moved next to Greg. I still don't understand. How many of us are there? How were we chosen? Sam answered. Thousands across the world, selected for genetic compatibility, strategic, location, and specific needed abilities. But why didn't we know? Allison asked. For your protection, Olivia explained, and so you could live normal lives until needed. The trigger to activate was designed to only work in a true planetary emergency. The alien commander looked at his defeated troops, then at his wrist device. He pressed several buttons, and a holographic screen appeared in the air. Another alien face, more decorated and older-looking, appeared. Hi, Commander, Zexlar said. The Earth mission has failed. The humans have unexpected defenses, living weapons hidden among their population. The High Commander's 4 eyes narrowed. Explain. Greg stepped into view of the hologram. I'll explain. Your invasion force attacked my ice cream shop and hurt my customers. That was your first mistake. Your second was assuming humans are primitive because we don't flaunt our technology. High Commander studied Greg. You do not speak like a military leader. I'm not, Greg said. I make ice cream for a living, but before that I was a military engineer. And through a program called Project Chrysalis, I was enhanced to protect my planet when needed. He gestured to the others around him. We all were. Dentists, librarians, bus drivers, mail carriers, ordinary people until threatened. Then we become Earth's defense system. The High Commander was silent for a moment. How many of you are there? Greg smiled. Enough. And now that you've activated us, we won't go back to sleep easily. Olivia stepped forward. Our analysis suggests your empire spans 12 star systems. Impressive, but not large enough to waste resources on a protected planet. The alien leader's expression changed. Protected? By whom? By us, Sam said simply. The High Commander spoke to Zexlar. Retrieve your surviving forces and return to the ship. This mission is terminated. The alien troops began to shimmer, teleporting away despite Allison's blocking device. The High Commander must have used a different frequency. Before Zexlar disappeared, Greg grabbed his arm. Take a message back to your people. Earth is off limits. We're not as primitive as we seem, and we don't take kindly to invaders. The commander nodded once, then vanished in a shimmer of light. The shop fell silent. Outside, the crowd had grown. Police, reporters, and ordinary citizens watched as the enhanced humans began to exit the ruined ice cream shop. What do we do now? Noah asked, looking at his hands that were slowly returning to normal. Greg surveyed the damage to his shop. Melted ice cream covered the floor, mixed with broken glass and alien technology. First, he said with a small smile, we clean up this mess, then we rebuild, better and stronger than before. Allison looked at the crowd outside. And what about them? The world knows about us now. They know some of us exist, Olivia corrected. But not who all of us are. Most Chrysalis agents will return to normal life once the crisis passes. Sam nodded. That's how it was designed. We protect when needed, then go back to our lives. Greg picked up an undamaged ice cream scoop from behind the counter. Speaking of which, I think people could use some ice cream after all this excitement. Noah, check if the freezer in the back still works. As Noah went to check, a young girl approached the shop with her mother. She pointed at Greg. Mommy, is that the ice cream man who fought the aliens? Greg knelt down to her level. That's me, and once we clean up, I'll have the best strawberry ice cream ready for you. The girl smiled. Were you scared of the aliens? Greg thought for a moment. A little. But that's okay. Being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do what's right even when you are scared. As Greg spoke to the child, satellites in orbit captured images of the alien ships leaving Earth's atmosphere. In classified military bases around the world, officials watched the departure with relief and surprise, and in a database on the alien mothership, Earth's status was changed from target for conquest to protected extremely dangerous species.